Today I'm going to be explaining Macbeth while playing Rainbow Six Siege. We're going to be focusing on two themes that pop up in GCSEs, ambition and guilt. Shakespeare takes us on a crazy ride with Macbeth's rise to power and his downfall, driven specifically by these two forces. Just so you have a general idea about the play if you haven't read it, Macbeth is basically a story about a brave soldier who gets told by three witches that he'll become king one day. Ambitious and excited by the idea, him and his wife, Lady Macbeth, make a plan to kill the current king, whose name is Duncan. After he becomes king, Macbeth starts feeling guilty and paranoid, which leads him to killing more people to keep his power. In the end, his guilt drives him mad and he's defeated in battle by a nobleman called Macduff, who restores peace by helping Malcolm, whose old King Duncan's son, become the new king. Macbeth was written during the Jacobean era, under the reign of King James I. At the time, people believed that kings were chosen by God, known as the divine right of kings, so killing a king was always considered as an attack on God's order. King James I was also interested in witchcraft, which influenced Shakespeare's inclusion of the witches in the play. The play reflects fears about the chaos that follows when someone unlawfully takes power. Ambition is probably the biggest theme in Macbeth. Shakespeare uses Macbeth to show us what happens when ambition goes unchecked, and it's not a good look. At the start, Macbeth is a loyal warrior, but after hearing the witch's prophecies, his ambition kicks into overdrive. Shakespeare uses a metaphor here, and he compares Macbeth's ambition to a horse that's jumping too high and ends up falling on the other side. The metaphor shows how his ambition is reckless, and it also is a clever use of foreshadowing to show that his ambition will lead to his downfall. This quote is also key because it highlights how Macbeth recognizes that he has no moral justification for killing Duncan, just pure ambition. In fact, his vaulting ambition is dangerous, and the imagery of it overleaping suggests that ambition pushes him beyond his limits. Shakespeare's message here is that ambition, without moral boundaries, can lead to self-destruction. In this quote, Shakespeare uses personification by asking the stars to hide their light, which creates dark imagery to represent Macbeth's growing ambition and his desire to keep his plans hidden. This quote essentially highlights Macbeth's secret ambition to seize power through murder. By asking the stars to hide their light, he's trying to conceal his black and deep desires from both the world and his own conscience. The use of dark imagery shows how his ambition is already beginning to corrupt him, even before he acts. Shakespeare demonstrates that Macbeth is fully aware of the immoral nature of his ambition, and yet he's still driven by them. This foreshadows the destructive path his unchecked ambition will lead him down. Now, guilt is another huge theme that frequently pops up in Macbeth. It really messes Macbeth and Lady Macbeth up as the play goes on. It's ambition that drives them to commit awful crimes, but guilt starts eating away at them immediately after. Shakespeare uses guilt to show how even the most ruthless characters can't escape their conscience. Shakespeare uses hyperbole here, saying that not even all the water in the ocean could wash away the blood, which is a euphemism for his guilt. The blood symbolizes the murder he's committed, and the guilt that comes with it. This is one of the most famous quotes for guilt in Macbeth. Macbeth is immediately overwhelmed by the weight of his crime, and the blood on his hands is a physical representation of his guilt. Shakespeare is showing us that no matter how ambitious Macbeth is, he can't escape the consequences of his own actions. The fact that he imagines an entire ocean failing to cleanse him suggests that his guilt is overwhelming and irreversible. There's a use of symbolism and repetition here. The spot represents the bloodstains and guilt that Lady Macbeth imagines on her hands. The repetition of out shows her desperation to rid herself of this guilt. Lady Macbeth's guilt manifests physically as she sleepwalks, trying to scrub imaginary blood from her hands. This moment is powerful because it contrasts with her earlier ruthlessness. Remember, previously she had said that a little water clears us of this deed. Now, she is consumed by the very guilt she once thought she could avoid. Shakespeare's message is clear. Ambition may drive them to act, but guilt ultimately destroys them both. So there you have it, two massive themes in Macbeth, ambition and guilt. Shakespeare shows us how ambition can drive people to commit horrible acts, but guilt catches up with them, no matter how strong they think they are. Keep these quotes and literary devices in mind for your GCSEs, and you'll be smashing those high marks in no time. Please let me know what other texts you'd like me to cover, even if you'd like me to do a part 2 on either Macbeth or my last video, which was Jekyll and Hyde. As always, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.